Welcome to Roger That, a podcast presented by HVAF. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Nolan Anderson, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. It's our ongoing mission to highlight how HVAF is making strides in ending veteran homelessness and share some of the ways that you can join us in this critical mission, because we believe no hero should ever be homeless. On today's episode, we'll be shining a light on two incredible veterans who have found success and self-sufficiency through the support of HVAF's programs. First, we'll be speaking with Tommy. Tommy was a veteran who was recently displaced by the fire at the Manchester apartments, and since then, Tommy has achieved a major milestone. He's now secured permanent housing and is starting a new chapter of stability. Later on, we will chat with James, another inspiring veteran who recently graduated from our VetWorks program. Scott has gone on to find full-time employment as a chef, pursuing his passion and building a brighter future. Get ready for these incredible conversations full of resilience, hope, and action. Thank you for listening and for being a part of this mission to serve and support our Hoosier heroes. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Tommy Martin, and I was a U.S. Marine. 4 years, I served one term.
Okay, and when did you join up in the military?
It was 90.
90? Okay, how old were you when that was?
I guess I was like 20.
Okay, so what made you want to join up?
Well, just mostly family, and I was from a small town with not a lot there.
Oh, okay, so military family
And opportunity. Mostly, yeah.
So you were in there for 4 years. What were you doing when you were in the Marines? What was a day-to-day life for you?
Well, I was actually a payroll clerk in there, my permanent duty station was on a Navy base, which I think is closed now. It was NAS Millington, Tennessee, about 20 miles out of Memphis.
Okay.
So I was a permanent duty Marine on a Navy base. It was okay.
Okay. So brings us to about 94 when you transitioned out. What was that transition like, moving from military to civilian life?
It's a little difficult, I guess, because I was in during Desert Storm. I didn't see any action, but I had a lot of friends that was in during there and stuff. It's just different.
Yeah. Outside of that military structure,
yes.
Going out open. So what'd you do when you first got out of the military? What was your first thing you kind of set yourself into?
Construction.
Okay, yeah. And how long did you end up doing that?
I've done it off and on for probably 20 years.
Okay, so yeah, you got a real full resume on that.
Well,
so let's kind of talk about a little bit. How'd you end up in Indiana? Because you said you've only been here for about 4 or 5 months or so. So tell us a little bit about your journey, how you ended up here.
Well, I've lived the last 7 years in Nashville, Tennessee, which I'm originally from rural southeastern Kentucky, London.
Okay.
And I was actually heading from Tennessee to see my aunt in London, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of the stops. And I seen Lucas Stadium. I'd already had plans to try to get VA help or whatever. And I happened to see Lucas Stadium across there, and I just thought I'd like to go see a Colts game or whatever. So I spent 2 weeks at my aunt's in London, Kentucky doing the legwork, and HVAF got me up here.
Okay.
Well, I brought a bus, but they had an apartment waiting for me at the Manchester apartments when I got here.
Okay, how'd you first learn about HVAF?
Just calling.
Okay, so you're just calling what resources were available?
In Indianapolis.
Okay, could you tell me a little bit about what that was like? Did you call and speak to a case manager and they just started?
I've got hopefully the best one that I've ever had. And just, I've been in a few places like this, and Danica Gunn's been so great, or whatever. I actually got a hold of her, and she it took 2 weeks, but she got me in. Okay,
so it was basically kind of a quick resettlement for you.
Yeah.
When you moved into the Manchester apartments, and
somewhat, yes.
Yeah. So once you get settled in, how long were you in the Manchester apartments?
I guess around 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a list to get my apartment when the fire happened, but I think it did expedite my moving in.
Mm-hmm. And when you speak of apartment, that's moving into a permanent residence.
Well, this one actually.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so let's go back to the night of the fire. Were you on site when it happened?
Yes, I was actually one of the first responders. I started smelling. I was sitting in my room watching TV, and I smelled wood, and then what I think was the rubber membrane on the top of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was serious. So I went and told my roommate, and got him aware. And then I went to Alan, actually, because I know that he does volunteer and things, and we started getting to people, trying to get them out and things.
Yeah, when I spoke to Alan, he said somebody grabbed him and they started knocking on doors. So I guess that was you're the somebody there. So one thing I want to ask is a little bit about your mindset. You know, you smell wood burning. You know a fire's coming, and your first reaction is to go find somebody and get other people out of the door. And a lot of people, they smell smoke, they're gonna get outside to safety. So what was it about that moment that made you want to go and reach out to your other people in the facility?
I just wanted everybody to be safe. I knew the alarm that was going off was, they were notifying the fire department. I also opened a few of the emergency doors that I knew that would contact the case managers or whatever when they went off.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make sure everybody was safe.
So once you were able to, knock on doors and get some people out, what about your stuff? Were you able to go in and grab any of your things? Your
I was not. I grabbed my billfold that had my papers in it, Social Security card, ID, birth certificate, and my bicycle, actually.
Oh, wow. I mean, at least you were able to get the paperwork, because I know a lot of people lost some of that because it was just so late in the night when it happened. So take me to that night. What was that night like for you? Once you guys got outside,
Well,
what was the next
after I
step
got
for you?
Alan going and we got people out or whatever, I went outside to look. And the flame that I seen, I had ample time probably to return and get my stuff, but the flame I seen wasn't that bad, it didn't look like. But what I didn't know, it was, that was just where it came up. It had already engulfed most of the roof.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So I just waited on the fire department.
So that night, once you guys are outside and safe, what was the next steps? They put you, I know Indy Greyhound volunteered.
Indigo, actually, I volunteered a couple buses to bus us to different locations, different motels.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you get to see Miss Danica that night? I know a lot of our staff were able to.
I did see Danica that night.
Okay,
Yeah, she's always behind the scene.
good. So she was able to at least get eyes on you and account for you.
Yes,
which is
they
good.
were. That's what they were doing, trying to account for people. I think we had a few that weren't exactly where they were supposed to be, but everybody got accounted for.
Yeah, I think by the end of it there were 5 unaccounted for that night, and over the next couple days they were able to track them down, one by one, and some case managers were just going through notes, and I think they saw one where it was they saw that somebody liked to hang out at Steak and Shake. His cell phone was in the apartment, so they weren't able to contact him, so they just started going around to Steak and Shakes that were close, and they were able to find him. So yeah, we were really grateful that everybody got out with their lives. So you were sent out to one of the apartments that were were you at the extended stay?
I was at the extended stay off at 86 for a couple of nights, and then I got moved to the apartment.
Okay, and so have you been working this whole time while you were at Manchester? Because I know starting the process.
Off and on. What I wanted to do, I'm not so much wanting back in construction, but I love these events around here. So there's a company called 10, and they subbed off of CSC to do the NFL and various events at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for them quite a while until they lost their NFL contract. So that kind of did that. But I love the events around here, just the atmosphere. And I did, I seen the stadium. I did, and I got to watch. I've got footage of 2 or 3 pre-game. I have already seen the coach play.
I mean, that's really cool that, Lucas Oil was one of the first things that you saw when you got into the city, and now you've
got a lot of footage.
There. Yeah.
I've got a lot of footage of it.
I wish the Colts had been a little bit better for us
Yeah,
for the
but
last 4 years.
we won Sunday.
Yeah, we beat the Jets, which was nice. So tell me a little bit, you were on the application process to get this apartment, your permanent housing, while you're in Manchester, but you lost everything in the fire. So how were you able to kind of fill out this place?
We have been compensated with a gift card for some of the fees that I lost. I mean, I'd really rather, all of my stuff was hand-picked and things that, like if I go to the donation place and I don't want it or I'm going to use it, I won't get it.
Mhm.
So all of my stuff was really things like I had jerseys there from Luck and Richardson and things like that I really, I miss.
They were personal to you.
Yeah, correct.
So let's talk a little bit about HVAF. Have you been able to use any of their other services?
Oh, yes.
Their pantry and things like
It's
that?
been great. The pantry, the clothing is always new, clean, and in good condition. The job specialists, I've used them and had luck, had a little luck with them.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, all their services have been great. I try to show gratitude in everything.
So I wanted to ask something that I think is a little bit unique with you. You were talking about when you first learned about HVAF, you were just doing research on what resources were available for veterans in the area. And I want to ask a little bit about that mindset, because I know a lot of people in your position, somebody who might have been homeless or looking for work, might not be willing to look for that type of help that's available for them. So I just kind of want to ask, what makes it about you that you're willing to look for that type of work and that type of help? And if you could speak to any other veterans who might be hesitant to ask for that type of help, what would you say to them?
I would encourage them to try and strive for a better life and things. It's I've done a homeless thing. I've done Nashville. I've been in Atlanta, and it's not fun. But I enjoy this city more than any place I've been, and I've got more help here than any place I've been.
Mm-hmm.
There would be no way in 5 months in Nashville, Tennessee, for me to be sitting in my own place. It just wouldn't happen. It's just the crowdedness and everything. It just would not happen.
Yeah, and Indiana is one of the states with the highest amounts of National Guard, so we do have a lot of veteran services here. So I'm really glad that you're able to find our community, and it seems like it's really embracing you. So let's talk about your next steps. What are your goals moving forward? You got some stability and some self-sufficiency with your place here, but what are you looking at next? What
Looking
would
for
you like?
permanent employment and my teeth fixed.
Mhm.
My smile, it's just not very good right now.
Mhm.
And I'd like to have it.
Awesome. And so let's talk about what type of work are you looking for? You said you did construction a lot. You worked with the events with Lucas Oil. Obviously, you want to be tied to maybe something in the city, but talk about a little bit what skills that you have and places you could find yourself working.
Well, I don't really want to get back into construction unless I have to. I don't know. I love the events. I love cleaning up the city. I'm wanting to check into DPW, the Department of Public Works, or the city clean team. I would love to do something like that. Refurbishing these monuments and things like that, cleaning on them. I would love to do that. Or some kind of janitorial work. But permanent work that I do need to.
Okay, awesome. I really do appreciate you expanding on your story a little bit. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you is just looking forward and, after the recovery from the fire and things like that, is there anything that you would like to say to the donors of HVAF, something that they might not know about your situation or the situation of other veterans who use our services? Gives you a chance to kind of speak directly to our donors and, gives them an opportunity to hear from you where you're at.
Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you, but I would like to show that their efforts are not in vain, that, they have helped me out. I'm trying, I've got a nice place, I've got a good start here.
And thanks so much to Tommy for stopping by and sharing his story with us. And up next, we have James. James sits down with us to talk about his journey through the Vet Works program and his journey to be a professional chef.
Gotta wait the cabbage, man.
That's what we like to hear. All right, so I'm going to be sitting right here so you can make eye contact with me and the camera will just be going. So once again, I'm going to have you give me your name, your name, and also your military service. So
Okay.
when you joined.
All right, my name's James Scott Priest. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a United States Navy veteran. I joined the Navy in July 19th, 1990. And basically I joined the military to see see the world and to basically get away from my parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
How old were you when you joined
I was
up?
19.
Okay, so yeah, basically like right out of high school.
Right out of high school. Well, I didn't graduate high school. I got my GED.
Okay, yeah.
So I did the former route.
Yeah.
You know, my military career was brief. I only did 2.5 years in service. I still served my country during time of war, and I am a combat veteran from the Persian Gulf. The veterans, you know, like me, we don't realize that HVAF, they accept you for who you are,
Exactly.
not for what you did in your past, not for what you're gonna. They don't know your future. They only know you for you, and they, as long as you have a DD-214 and you can open your mouth and speak,
Yep.
HVAF will find a way to help you.
And even if you can't speak, if you can just write something down, we'll get that communication across.
Absolutely. But if you're in trouble and you need help and you're a veteran, come to HVAF. You know, it's a great place to get your life started. They helped me in so many ways. I was a homeless veteran here in Indianapolis back in 2019. And HVAF, I didn't even know that this organization existed when I got here. If it wasn't for the veterans the homeless veterans that I see downtown, they are the ones that pointed me in this direction.
Yeah, and one of the people we have on staff here is Rodney. He's our outreach coordinator, and what he does every day is he's in that van and he goes out to the encampments or where the homeless population is, and he tries to find the veterans that are out there so he can make them aware of what our services are. And the idea is that the more people who know, they can share it with people like you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the way that my journey in HVAP has started, is by opening my mouth and asking for help, knowing that veterans help veterans. And that's the way I got started here, and this organization has provided me with my place to live that I've been at for 5 years, almost 6 years now.
That's awesome.
And it provided me with a whole bunch of stuff, It gave me furniture for my apartment. It provided me with food and other stuff that, that I didn't even know that I needed at that point in time. And a lot of times, it's like you said, Nolan, veterans were prideful people. We have, some of us have more pride than we should have. And a lot of times we don't like to ask for help until the building is coming down on top of us, and it's the last resort. We exhaust everything else before we ask for help. And sometimes it's too late to get the help that we so richly deserve and need. So I'm imploring to all veterans that are out there, if you're struggling with something mentally, physically, emotionally, come to HVAF. They can help you. Organizations like this need other people to help them. And if you're watching this right now, if you can help HVAF with clothes, with shoes, with food, with money, that's where it all comes down to. These programs need funding for them. They need the money to help employ people like Nolan, employ the job placement specialists that they have here, all the counselors that they have here, all the people that work the front desk. They have volunteers, yes, but they're volunteers. They need people here full time. They had a fire recently, and their residents, they have people that stay here and live here. And I don't know if it's long term or short term, but their residents got damaged by a fire. I know they have insurance, but insurance only covers so much. So if you can help them to repair this building and get these veterans, homeless veterans, back into these spaces,
Mm-hmm.
help. That's all I can say to you guys is help.
Yeah.
You know, they're helping veterans like me. I'm a recent graduate of their VetWorks Phase 1 program.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a program that has catapulted me into my career that I am pursuing right now, which is becoming a chef.
Yeah, and when I met you, you were in your full chef getup, and you had, I believe it was...
I had a chef coat on, and I had my toque on from my graduation. I also had my, I got pinned from my graduation on forward,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about making progress in my life. I'm not about standing still, because if you stand still, you can get ran over, and life can run you over really quickly. And up until, well, just about 4 short months ago, I thought that life was running me over. You know, I had lost my job, and I was fearing that I was going to become homeless again. So I was literally scrambling to try to get my rent paid and feed myself. And I also have a little dog, you know, who is my world.
What's his name? Or
her name is Katja,
Mm-hmm.
and she is the love of my life right now. You know, and I have to take care of her. It's my duty
Yep.
as being a dog dad to take care of her and feed her, clothe her, shelter her, make sure that she's okay mentally, and it's part of my responsibility as being a human being.
So when you had just lost your job, and you and me had talked before about when you were thinking about, you know, what skills that you had that you could apply to a future career, and you were thinking about, you know, that you were a good cook. So could you tell me the story about you talking to your neighbors and cooking for them for the first time? Because that kind of, it sounded like, got you on the road to becoming a professional chef.
Well, it was back during like the beginning of July.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor Ryan and his family had just come back off of a long trip, but I did not know that. So I was thinking of innovative ways that I can make money to buy some food for myself and my dog.
Yeah.
So I was knocking on my neighbors' doors asking if I can cook a meal for them. And they just happened to come back off a long 2-week vacation, and they did not have anything in the refrigerator. So he said, yeah. And I promptly went home, and I made this dish off the cuff. I had no money, so I couldn't buy anything for him at the store.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking in my cabinets about what I had. And I had just come from the HVAF pantry,
Mm-hmm.
and they had provided me with some, I believe it was some tomatoes. I had gotten some tomatoes and some vegetables and other stuff. And I had other stuff in my pantry, like pasta and stuff like that, because my mom had always taught me, you know, have the staples, have pasta sauce, have macaroni and cheese,
Mm-hmm.
you know, other stuff that you can make simple and quick, you know, and it will fill you up. So I made them a pasta dish and brought it over to them, and I gave them all the condiments, the Parmesan cheese and extra pasta sauce and stuff like that, and gave it to them and said I'd be back in a little while to pick up my pan.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back over there to pick up my pan, my neighbor, and I call him a friend now because I've known him for almost 5 years, he gave me back the pan, and he gave me $40. I had initially told him $20, so he paid me double
Mm-hmm.
of what I had asked him for. And he said he would probably be coming back to me to have me cook him another dish,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so good. But the best thing about it was the thank you notes that I got from his children, Emma and Micah. They gave me thank you notes as part of, the me cooking food for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I carry it around on me because it kind of it reminds me every time of why I want to become a chef.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something very simple that can really help propel you into getting back on track.
Yeah, and it gives you that constant
things.
motivation.
Correct.
It's in your pocket every day that, anytime you have a bad day at work,
I can look at that and say, all right, that's what I still want to do.
Yeah.
And I still want to do it, and I plan on going to school. I know I'm crazy, but I plan on going to Ivy Tech to pursue a culinary degree at Ivy Tech. Because I can.
Yeah.
I mean, HVAF has kind of like made me into a better person, along with my faith. I thought I had lost my ability to work, and that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
When I first found the Vet Works program, I found it by happenstance. There was a young lady that used to work here. Her name was Mallory, and I was over here getting food. It was on a Tuesday. I was over here getting food, and I had heard her talking to another veteran who was in the Vet Works or going to join the Vet Works program, and I had asked her about it, and she's like, oh, well, it's this great program that I'm involved in, and you can get involved in it too. All you have to do is do this and do this and do this, and you get some money. And I'm like, what? And I know that I needed money at the time, so I was like, okay, this is going to be my ticket, and this is going to help me to get my bills paid. This is going to help me to buy food for myself and sustain me until I can find employment. Well, I did not know that at the time that I was going to go to chef school. But then I had heard about second helpings, and that was it. I was like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and so for people who don't know, what's Second Helpings?
Second Helpings is a organization here in Indianapolis that helps feed people. They help rescue food from grocery stores, restaurants, different places, food that's deemed to be thrown away.
Yeah.
They have rescued millions of pounds of food just this year.
And this is stuff that's still edible, but,
Yes.
It's like those ugly shaped apples that are still edible, but they don't want to sell them at the grocery store.
Or food that is about to be expired that can be reused.
Yeah, and cooked that day.
And made into healthy meals for people that can't get to food. It's delivered to them. And the organization offers a culinary job training program for free. They provide you with everything that you need. The knives. They provide you with the shirts. They don't provide the pants, but now they provide the slip-resistant shoes.
Yeah, which you need on the floor.
Which you need to have in a kitchen. You have to have slip-resistant shoes in order to work in a kitchen, which is where I work now. I currently work at the airport for a place called The Tap. It's a bar and / restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's a great job so far. Really easy menu. I wish they had something more complicated.
Yeah.
So that way I can use my brain a little bit. However, it's just a stepping stone into something more, and which is what I am seeking. Once I go to school, I will be seeking a better job. Everything in life takes steps.
Yeah, so this is just another stepping stone for you.
It keeps my lights on, it keeps me in my apartment, it keeps me fed, it keeps my dog fed, and I just have to keep going. A lot of times veterans also, they think that this is it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that this is it for me. I know that God has bigger and better things for me.
Yeah.
I have to keep progressing. And I do say my prayers every day in the morning and at night, and most of the times in between.
Mm-hmm.
Because God is always with us, no matter what we do.
Well, and your story reminds me of the parable of the drowning man. You know, the man's in the ocean drowning, and he calls out to God to save him, and God sends him a boat, and the boat shows up, and he says,
Yep.
No, I don't need the boat.
I don't need
God's
the boat.
gonna come save me.
God's gonna come save me.
And you weren't like that. You got in the boat when it was sent, and that's your job here at your next restaurant, and you'll build up from there.
Absolutely. And I have this little quote that I carry around on me. It's by Friedrich Nietzsche.
Mm-hmm.
One must have chaos inside of oneself in order to give birth to a dancing star. And life right now, my life right now, it may seem chaotic to everyone else, but it's organized chaos to me on the inside, because
Mm-hmm.
I know, like I said, that God has bigger and better things for me.
And that dancing star is on the horizon for
Correct.
you.
That dancing star is my dog food store
Mhm.
that I want to, or my dog food company that I want to open.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It's going to be called, it's a human grade dog food company. It's going to be called The Simple Chef. And yes, I have trademarked that name, so nobody can steal it from me. But that's my ultimate dream,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to employ veterans. They're dependable. They show up on time. And when I say on time, I mean they show up early.
Mm-hmm. Show up early, stay
being
late.
early is being on time. Being on time is being late. And not a lot of people realize that.
Yeah,
So do all future, if you're an employer and you're watching this, employ veterans. We will show up.
Yeah.
It's not about what you have or who you are. It's about what you're made of.
Mm-hmm.
It's the inside that really counts.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have all the money in the world and you can have the nicest car and the nicest house, but if you're a crappy person,
Yeah. It
You don't
doesn't
have
count for
anything.
anything, yeah.
you don't have anything. And this place right here, HVAF, has kind of like made me into a little bit better of a person, because they have showed me so much kindness. And that's what this place is all about. It's about showing kindness to a fellow human being.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because we're veterans here. They help families too, not just veterans. Know that this place right here is a safe place for veterans to come and get some services that they need, and also some things that they want.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be part of something that's bigger than you, come to HVAF. And all you got to do is just ask, and these people will help you the best that they can. There's a lot of people here that need the help
Mm-hmm.
in order to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. If you want to help this organization to keep helping us, help them to help other people.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's a great way to also you can get a tax break on it too.
Yeah.
If you donate the money, you get a tax break.
Donations are all tax deductible.
Absolutely.
Yep. So the last thing I wanted to ask you, and this is more personal, what's your favorite thing to cook?
My favorite thing to cook?
Your favorite dish, your signature dish.
Oh man. That's a tough one, man, because I'm pretty good at cooking a lot of stuff.
Well, you can give me your top 3 then.
All right. Well, my chicken parmesan.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've just added chicken and dumplings to my repertoire.
Oh, wow.
And I would have to say my eggs Florentine.
Mm-hmm. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so eggs have become my new best friend.
Yeah.
I like eggs.
Yeah, and they're so versatile.
Oh yeah, very versatile. You can do a lot of things. There's 79 different ways you can cook an egg. Did you know that? 79 different ways. That's crazy.
Have you done all 79?
Oh no. I scratched the surface on the 79. I think I've done them 10 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get that 79.
Yeah.
I don't even know all 79 of it. It's crazy.
Hey, well, once you finish that Ivy Tech course, you might have a couple
Oh yeah,
more
I'll
in
probably
there.
have a couple more.
Yeah.
I'll probably have about 5 or 10 more. Yeah, I'm gonna. Matter of fact, you know what? I was thinking about cooking that for my Sunday dinner this Sunday. So it's kind of up in the air. You know, that's the one good thing about becoming a chef. You know, it's refueled my love of food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really home in the evenings, except for on Wednesdays and Sundays, which are my days off.
Yeah.
During the week. So on, like tonight, I'm gonna keep it kind of light. I'm probably gonna I'm probably just gonna have soup and sandwiches tonight for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but Sundays is when I really go all out and
Get really creative with it.
creative with it, and kind of like make Sundays like my special day, you know. And I also cook a meal for my dog too, so make sure she's included in my special day.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's, like I said, she's my world, and I want to make her happy as long as she's on this planet, because she's on this planet for a limited
Such a short time, yeah.
And I want to make the rest of her life the best of her life, so that way when I do get this company started, hopefully she's still around, but if she's not, it's going to be in her memory.
Yep.
Because she's also part of the catalyst that has got me going, because I do cook her food for her. I found it's a lot cheaper for me to cook her food for her
Mm-hmm.
than it is for me to go buy a bag of kibble.
Yeah.
But still, just you know, in my parting words here, HVAF needs your help. If you are listening to this, and if you want to help veterans, and if you want to feel good about yourself for helping veterans, donate to HVAF, you know, or come down here and volunteer at HVAF
Mm-hmm.
and see what the organization is like. And then just make that mental note, you know.
Yeah.
You're helping veterans and families. You're not just helping veterans.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Scott. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And that's a wrap on Roger That. We would like to extend our thank yous to our special guests Tommy and James for joining us and sharing their inspiring stories. Also, in an exciting update, since our conversation, Tommy has reported in that he has landed a new job, and in a wonderful twist of fate, he will actually be joining James at Second Helpings. Congratulations to both of you. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, we encourage you to follow the podcast and show your support by hitting that 5-star button. Remember, our mission is not complete until no hero is homeless. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Nolan Anderson, and this is Roger That.